great talker that went live this weekend. We would love your opinions and thoughts on this. Some Dubai petrol stations will be renamed after brands. So this came from Emirat, and they're going to use businesses as a form of advertisement, a scheme that may sound familiar to residents, as we've seen with RTA. The Dubai Metro was once taken over, so you can pay for station names there. So this move was announced by Emirat. They own 108 service stations in Dubai and the Northern Emirates.
Now, Emirat launched a first-of-its-kind project in the UAE and globally on Saturday. Project Landmark will allow businesses to have naming rights at stations as a form of advertisement. So technically, if you have millions of dirhams advertising spent for your company, you could rename one of their petrol stations.
So, for example, there's an Emirat on Sheikh Zayed Road. You could go into them and say, here, I've got this amount of cash. Can you rename it? For example, let's say, for example, Lovin Dubai. Someone said, here's a couple of million dirhams.
Name it Lovin Dubai.
You could name it Lovin Dubai if you could. So that's, and then the question is, what are your thoughts on it, right? So rather than having 108 Emirat petrol stations, you might be looking for the Unas petrol station or the McDonald's petrol station.
That's true. I mean, it's a very smart technique because, like, as you said, like, you know, they're all named similar in a way. All of the petrol stations are now named in a similar way. So technically, like, if you're like on Google Maps, you know, like, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Emirat, they're just gonna send you to like millions. But a petrol station is a petrol station. I think like the name is not gonna matter. It's much of like, I think, a business deal, or like, you know, like, a company would want to mark its name in the country in a way. So technically, they would want to pay that much sum of money. It's like advertising, business, marketing. I think it's all related all in one. It's smart, but it's like the same. Like I wouldn't care if I would.
People care.
Really?
People in the comments care. Because I agree with you. I think it's such a smart move by the petrol stations. A lot of people are saying, look, why are they not called by the geographical names? But at the end of the day, they're not called by the It's not like the Sheikh Zayed Road Emirat station or the Production City Emirat. They are all called Emirat. So actually, and I don't know about you, but I don't have a specific petrol station that I go to. I like a couple wherever I'm near. But actually, if it was named a certain brand, I might find it easier to be able to identify it. Now, if there's loads around, for example, if that was a brand I could identify, if that was, I don't know, what brands do I know? Tires, Aviator, then I might be like, okay, that's the Aviator petrol station. It might be easier. As long as they have longevity to it. I feel like if it changes every year, it might become a little bit confusing if there's so many brands everywhere. But if there's longevity, I think it's not so bad.
I mean, it might be relevant if, let's say, you're talking to your friend on the phone, like, hey, I am at this petrol station, so she would be able to recognize where you are. But as in terms of like going and filling up your car, you know, with gas, I don't think it would be very relevant as the prices would still be the same. You know what I mean? In that sense of like, I think so. But of course, you know, like the comments are hilarious. Like someone's like, oh, they're going to be naming them Oman Chips petrol station.
Genius!
You guys.
If there's an Oman Chips petrol station, we're going to know exactly where it is.
Exactly. See,
no one's going to forget that. These are a bit wishy-washy.
I mean, of course, like for example, like when I'm with my friends and I'm driving the car, it's like I call her like, hey, her name is X. I'm at this station. She goes like, which one? Is it the one here or there? And it's like kind of like confusing. But to you as an individual, is it going to make a difference?
But I think, to your point about costs, in other countries, different petrol stations have different costs. So therefore, sometimes, you have a specific petrol station that you always go to because you know it's cheaper, or like the more expensive one in the middle of town. We don't have that here. It's all regulated across the same brand, so every Emirat will be the same. So therefore, this isn't that big of a, it won't be that big of a change. Although I do need to ask, someone in comments, so maybe you'll know this, someone in comments said, we already gave the petrol station near Burj Al Arab a nickname many years ago. If you know, you know. I don't know.
Oh. I mean.
Do you know?
I don't, when was that? I mean, I'm born here. What's the name? Did he say anything? I mean, technically, we don't say that. If, like, for example, my friends and I go like, oh yeah, we are at the petrol station that is like in downtown next to this. That's how we direct each other. But I
think this is a cheeky one.
It is. Ali, do you know?
Does anyone know? Is anyone watching? Does anyone know? Maybe it's not suitable for work. So you just said, you know.
I mean, technically, I mean, it's kind of like, I think it's like a tricky situation. You know what I mean? Like if it is named in a way, it might help. By the way, it actually even might help if you are, you know, like when you're going for like a ride, you know, and you would want to see which petrol station is closest to you.
The Lamborghini petrol station.
Oh.
How cool.
I mean, that would be funny. Yeah, that might be cool. But again, like, I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference because, like, for example, like, maybe it will make a difference if you are, for your own awareness of if you're going somewhere that you haven't been there before, you know what I mean? So you just would want to recognize, like, fine, like, I'm going to be passing by through this petrol station for this purpose, and it's closest to that. Or if you're talking to your friends and you're just, like, I don't know, redirecting each other because, you know, like, getting lost in Dubai is, like, a disaster.
I might be wrong here, but I actually, because they're not named geographically anyway, naming something geographically makes a lot of sense. It would be a lot easier if everything was, but they're not. So RTA metro stations, very helpful if they have the geographical name. As petrol stations, because they're kind of random, this isn't too much of a big ask, and I just think it's a genius move by Emirat. They're going to get a couple of million dirhams for every, according to ARN,
Exactly.
per station that gets renamed. So why not?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I'm excited to see the names.